Good afternoon everyone and welcome to another Milky's... Wait, hang on a second. This isn't my karting footage. What am I doing here? Due to being beaten by Andrew McWilliam in the last round of the Sprint Championship, you now must voice over every single one of his Sprint videos. This will continue until you beat Andrew in a race. Oh, so all I have to do is beat Andrew to get out of this?
Like that's ever gonna happen.
Yes, this is Andrew McWilliam's video, and yes, I am Milky Cereal. So, with that said, just before we get into this, we need to give a little bit of a backstory, because this is Buckmore Park, it's the opening round of the championship, and it is Andrew McWilliam's favourite circuit. Why is it his favourite circuit? Well, because it's where moments like this have happened. It's also the circuit where Andrew found his feminine side. But most importantly, it's the circuit where this happened.
And that could be the most significant second place of his Club 100 career, because that is going to give him the championship.
That's right, we're riding on board with the Club 100 champion himself, the number one kart looking to defend his crown for 2025. So let's have a quick look then at the opening heat of the day. We're going to be starting this race in second, but there are a couple of heavy hitters in this race, most notably the likes of Harrison Kirkham and Miles Reitman starting in 6th and 7th. But we also can't discount some of the quicker C2 drivers, the likes of Adam Sheargold starting in 4th, and also Tommy Lee down in 10th place. But with the grid covered, let's jump on in to the opening race of the day. So we're starting this race in second place, and it's going to be very important to get a good start, because you can get you can be hung out to dry on the opening corner. Away we go though, it's a nice clean start. We're going to squeeze the pole sitter straight away and try to hang it around the outside, and we do as well, not even a jump start, and just like that, we are up into the lead of the race. But it'd be a bit boring if we ended the video here. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a nice, quiet, hot lap. Well, a pretty decent hot lap and a pretty decent race. Heat number 1, well technically heat number 2, and it's going to be a win by 3.3 seconds. A strong way to start the 2025 season. But that's only heat 1. Let's move on to heat 2, and this time we're starting down the order in 7th position. And for some reason, Jonathan Wilson is racing in this. I always thought he was a heavyweight, but I guess he's down into the lights. We are the only C1 driver, so come on, this should be an easy win, right Andrew? Right? Anyway, let's get on then with the race start. We are on the inside of the grid, and it's very common for drivers to go wide through the opening corner. So with that said, away we go. We're on the inside, and everyone goes wide. Who would have thought that was going to happen? And somehow, we're leading the race again. From 7th on the grid to 1st in one corner. Did Andrew push everyone wide? I don't know. He's a bit dirty like that sometimes. But I think that was a clean race start. It has the Milky Cereal stamp of approval. Oh, wait, I'm dirty, aren't I? It doesn't have the Milky Cereal stamp of approval. But with that said, let's look at a hot lap. A 46.2 into turn 1. Use all of the track. Get a nice first apex. A tiny bit wide on the second apex. But you can get away with that. Late on the brakes. Use all of the track. Clip the apex and let the kart out. Pull it back over to the right. Jump on the brakes. And you want to get the first apex, but not too much of the first part of the apex. Completely flat. through the chicane and then down the hill. Andrew doesn't know my secret tactic of using all of the red paint, but he does know about the red paint through the left. And what just happened with the camera? It looked like the camera flew up in the air. But anyway, on the brakes into Garda, lovely late apex, just kiss the curb, and then it's just the line of least resistance. Open up the steering, flat through Cafe to complete the hot lap. And to be honest, that's it. From there, it was nice and easy, plain sailing to the end as we cut to the final lap of the race. And this time, it wasn't a 3-second win, it was a 6.7-second win. We have doubled our victory margin. So I think that means that in heat number 3, we are now going to win by 13 seconds. Speaking of Heat 3, here is the grid. We've got Harrison Kirkham starting on the front row of the grid. Rory O'Regan, one of the other nameless motorsport drivers, in 4th. And then, of course, us, Andrew McWilliam, in 10th place. There's a couple of other drivers I recognise. Phil Holmes up from, I think he was a C3 last year. Max Sheldon Haywood, former junior driver. And I know Dan Shaw's there, but to be honest, I know Dan Shaw, but he's rubbish. So, with that said, we're going to be starting on the outside of the grid. We're getting a little bit of tyre warming going to warm up our tyres, because that's what you do, right? So, let's get ready to get this race underway. Outside of the grid can be very difficult. Harrison's starting towards the front, and he is going to be the main driver that we really need to beat. So we need to hope that Harrison doesn't get through, and Andrew can pick up some places nice and early and do, like 7th to 1st like he did in the last heat somehow, magically. But anyway, away we go on the outside of the grid, right on the bumper of the driver in front. We're going to try to get to the inside as quickly as we can, and that's exactly... Do we get to the inside? No, not quite. I think there's a driver who must be on our inside, so now we're going to have to try to hang it around the outside. There's a little bit of contact going on, and again, we just can't really pick our way through the mayhem that is unfurling in front of us. We get squeezed up onto the paint on the exit of the corner, and we're going to hang it around the outside, heading into the S's. And now down the hill, we've got a good opportunity to send it up the inside if the driver in front of us didn't go wide, but he did. So we're going to, we've got nowhere to go except for into the back of that driver. Go on, send it, Andrew, send it. Yeah, that's the way to go. Make a little bit of contact. I think that's Jeremy Deeks. I could be completely wrong. I don't know who it is. He's got a boring helmet and suit, so yeah, there we go. But anyway, on to lap 2 of the race, and we're catching up to the group of karts in front. We've got a decent run, but we're not quite close enough to send it. So instead, we're going to open up this corner, get on the power nice and early. We get a good exit, and we're going to send it up the inside. We get the position, and we're going to stop the footage here, because if I check my notes, this is where Andrew got a penalty for track limits.
I'm going to be honest, I can't quite see clearly whether this is outside of the track limits. So let's put on my glasses so that I can take a closer look. Andrew! That is completely out of track limits. Absolutely disgusting. Go to Club 100 and apologise to John for hurting his white line now. Absolutely ridiculous.
Now that we have established that Andrew definitely deserved a track limit penalty for that obscene abuse of tarmac, paint, I don't know, we can get back to the racing, and we're catching up to the driver in front, or at least we would be catching up to him if we didn't completely bottle the downhill S's. We do get Garda pretty well though, and now we've got a distant toe, let's say. We've got a nice distant toe, so we can get our heads down, get some slipstream. I'm going to call it right. Get a good run through turns 1 and 2. There you can see the penalty on the board. Get a good run through this, and then send it up the inside into the hairpin. Are we close enough? No, not quite. So we're going to have to do it into hairpin 2. Oh my god. Does this guy have a rocket? He is flying out of the corners. Or Andrew just completely bottled hairpin 1. I'm going to go with bottling hairpin 1, because that way I can make fun of him. So Andrew's bottled the corner. Go on, send it up the inside into the right-hander. Yeah, okay, I think that guy just wants to turn. Oh, right. Mr. Blind can't see a car up his inside, and then extends the corner as well. I'm sorry. To be fair, I think we should just blame Andrew for it. But anyway, it then took a couple of laps to catch back up to Mr. Blue Suit. And now that we have caught up to Mr. Blue Suit, we can give him a little push, and then send it up the inside into hairpin number 1. We got the position, and now we can try to work our way up the order. But we go wide. Oh, we go wide because he centered up our inside. Like, come on. You're fighting this guy, the king of Club 100. And you think that you're going to send it up the inside into hairpin 2. That's just downright disrespectful. Absolutely abhorrent. Anyway, we then catch up to Mr. Kinetica Racing Team, Simcox something or other. And he also has a case of the horse blinkers. Can't see a driver up his inside. Turns into us, but he ends up bouncing himself off anyway, so that's his own fault. We're through, and good job, Andrew. You lost the rear end going into the hairpin. Although, to be fair, he might have been hit from behind. We don't know. But again, as I mentioned before, I'm just going to assume that he did it himself. Skipping to the end of the race, we're going to finish in a beautiful P4, but we have that ridiculous penalty. So we're going to finish in P6 after the penalty has been applied, which means that our heat results are a first, and a fourth, a sixth. So as we head into the finals, you're probably wondering why we're entering the pits, because Andrew doesn't think his kart's any good. So we're going to come into the pits, we're going to change karts, and this is a perfect opportunity to have a look at the grid. Fraser Brunton and Jack Goldsmith are on the front row. It's the nameless 1-2. Then it's Dante and Sam, the Enduro duo, followed by us, Andrew McWilliam and Jake Chapman. Then it's the other nameless driver of Rory O'Regan, George Lawler, Toby Edelston, Miles Reitman, Harrison Kirkham down in P11th. There's a few other drivers that I'm noticing. Wait, oh my god, is that Thomas Layton in the A final? Who did he bribe to get in? Anyway, with that said, let's head on in to the race. And before we get into the race, I just want to say one thing. Andrew, I know Fraser's starting on pole, but you got to do me a solid here and beat that cocky little git, right? He thinks he's way too good. I beat him in the last race I had against him at Buckmore, so you have to beat him. So do me a favor, please, Andrew. With all that said and done, let's jump on into the A final. We're starting this race in 5th place. The track is a little bit damp, but we are on the inside. So go on, just do the same thing again, Andrew. Just give Dante a little push and push Fraser wide, preferably into the barriers. But anyway, we're about to go green. It's time to go racing. The inside gets a very good start. We're going to go nice and early on the brakes, but we get a tap from behind. And that's going to allow this guy through and this guy through. We've lost 2 positions.
Andrew, you're meant to beat Fraser. Hang on, I need a second. Oh, I feel so much better now. Right, anyway, back to the race.
Going to try to go up the inside into hairpin number 1. We're going to gain a position, so we're up to 4th. Go on, send it up the inside, Andrew. Yeah, but we got a little bit wide. We've lost the rear end on the damp stuff, and we've been squeezed a little bit. That's going to cost us now another 1 and 2 positions.
Wait, hang on, that's Rory O'Regan in front of Andrew, and is that Dante Dillon? It's Rory and Dante battling for second.
But anyway, back to the racing once more. We're now down to 5th, which, to be fair, is where we started, so this isn't too bad. But the track is drying, so it's important that we keep on pushing. We're going to open up this corner beautifully. We're going to get a good run, but not quite good enough. And we're going to have to stay in 5th place. So it's time to, focus and get our heads down and try to catch up to the group. Well, we've already kind of caught up to the group ahead of us. He takes a really weird line. Again, trying to find the grip in these damp conditions. We're now on the outside, which is not where we want to be, so we're going to have to brake early. Maybe try to go for a little switch back, but we're losing a lot of time behind whoever this is, and Rory has already pulled a bit of a gap. So, yeah, we just really need to hope that... we need to hope that Andrew doesn't lose positions to Jack Goldsmith, who has rocketed out of the... Oh my god, Jack has flown away. And then we've gained massively on the brakes. What is Andrew doing? This ain't Russian roulette, this is Buckmore roulette. As he's rouletting his car all around, as that's Harrison Kirkham, who has completely forgotten about track limits. Ah, dear. Anyway, we've dropped down to 7th, as again, the rear end's just kind of all over the place. Andrew, you need a bit more rear wing. You changed your setup, and you added way too much front downforce, and you forgot to add the rear downforce with it. But as I say that, Andrew's now remembered how to drive a car in the greasy conditions, and we're catching back up to Harrison Kirkham. We're going to try to go for a late apex, but we get a really good exit coming out of the corner, actually. I think we're taking this S's flat and then down the hill. Or you don't want to take the late apex there, Andrew. You've got to turn in early for that corner because that's where the grip is, in my humble opinion, anyway. And as I say that, we're going to send it up the inside of Kirkham because Harrison completely bottled that corner, as the driver in front also kind of bottles Garda a little bit. But we've regained one position. Our climb up the field has begun once more. I think in the distance, Fraser and Dante are just too far away. Actually, sorry, we can't even see Fraser and Dante. They're so far ahead. I think that is Jack Goldsmith and Rory O'Regan who are in third and fourth. My God, Fraser and Dante are completely gone. They must have rocket ships. That's the only viable explanation to explain whatever is happening here. But anyway, we are trying to catch up to fifth place, and there looks like a crazy battle going on between O'Regan and Goldsmith. But for now, Andrew needs to focus on getting through up into fifth place, and then we can try to re-continue our battle for third position. Again, the track is drying up, but at the moment it's probably going to be very greasy off circuit, as that is a track limit right there. That time it was definitely track limit. Again, try to get both of the apexes through turn one. Buckmore's a weird circuit because when it dries up in the day, it dries up completely differently to the night because no sunlight, blah blah blah. So it's just kind of, Buckmore's just a strange circuit in the wet, just in general. But anyway, Mr. White unknown helmet in front of us is slowly catching up to, I think that's Jack Goldsmith up ahead, which is good news for us because that means we're going to have a nice four-way battle for P3. And it looks like the track is pretty much dry as we get a really nice run coming out of Garda, but then we just seem to lose a bit of space, a bit of time going through the center chicane. Either way, we're right on to the back of this driver as we head into turn one. Right on the bumper as well. Can we go for a send? No, too far back. Nice and sensible from Andrew. We're going to sit behind, try to get a good run through hairpin one, but we don't get it. And, oh, he makes a mistake. Thank you very much. Up the inside, squeeze him wide. No! Squeeze him harder, Andrew! Squeeze him like a wet sponge. That's a great analogy. I'm going to steal that analogy and use it in my own videos. Anyway, we're back onto the back. We're back onto the back of Mr. White and Blue helmet, fake Jack Goldsmith. And again, we're just sitting behind. We're just waiting for the opportunity, like the one that we already had that we didn't fully capitalize on. Come on, we need to hurry up, Andrew. We need to catch Fraser and send him. Go on, send him, Andrew. Yeah, up the inside. And this driver does have eyes, and he doesn't turn into us into the corner. That's absolutely fantastic. But we are now through. We have gained the position, and we can try to hunt down the two up ahead. And we've got nice clear space, so this is a chance for Andrew to prove just how quick he is at Buckmore Park with no dirty air, with no drivers in front of him to compromise him. And I've got to be honest, it was looking good until he missed the apex of paddock. Up until that point, it looked quality, and it does look like we are catching up to O'Regan and Goldsmith up ahead. So, okay, Andrew, what on earth was that? Have you heard of an apex? You need to hit them. Again, the rear end just looks really twitchy, so I think it must be a bit damp in some corners like Cafe, and I'm guessing that when you just full commit expecting it to be dry and you just catch that damp stuff, it just sends the rear out. But we're definitely catching up fairly quickly, I think, to Mr. Jack Goldsmith. It's quite hard to tell exactly what the gap is, but I don't think we're losing time. I think we're gaining. And now we missed another apex. Andrew, you need to hit the apexes. Bro just hates it. Right, Andrew, your training now for before the next round of Club 100 is boxing, so you can learn how to hit things. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. So heads down, and again that gap does. Andrew! You lost 3 positions. Andrew was trying to recreate 2022 2023 where he went into the tyre barriers in that corner. I would replay the clip from the start of this video that I showed, but I'm not going to do it. Okay, I know what it is. Andrew's trying to make things exciting for the viewers. That's what he realized. He realized that it was boring for the camera and for this video because there wasn't any battles. So he's let 3 people through so he can overtake them again. That's literally the plan. So we are behind Mr. White Helmet. I can't tell if this is fake Jack Goldsmith or another driver entirely. But anyway, it's an okay-ish run, but we miss a little bit of the second apex, so we fall a little bit behind. And that guy's gone wide. Go on, Andrew. Send him. Is he going to go back up the inside into hairpin 2? No, he's not. We're through. 1 position gained. Next up is Mr. Carrison Hercombe up ahead. And we're going to catch him easily, right? Watch this. We're going to catch him. I'm going to call this. I've not actually watched this video. We're going to catch up to him going into hairpin 1. Not the next lap, but the lap after that. Watch. I've 100% I've understood what's happening. As I say that, I realise that Harrison seems to be pulling away from us slightly, which is now making me nervous about my prediction just by a tiny bit. But let's see what happens as we go into the double right-hander. Oh, Harrison hit that apex. Sweet. Andrew, that's what you got to do. See, look at that closing speed. Andrew is rapid when he's got someone to follow. Oh, we're gaining. We're gaining. I said that we'd catch up to Harrison in a lap and a half. We've caught up even quicker. That is absolutely redonkulous. But we've not fully caught up to him just yet. We're almost right onto the back of him, but we had a little bit of a moment because Harrison had a moment, and then we had a moment as well. I said, where did I say it would be? I said it was going into hairpin 2 next lap, and I think we're going to be on that because we're not right on his bumper just yet. I frigging call this. I swear I had not watched this video beforehand. This is my first time seeing this footage, and we're pretty much onto his bumper coming out of the double right-hander of turn 1 and coming out of hairpin 1. We're on his bumper. Milky the Prophet series. I just know this stuff. This is why you should listen to what I say, because I foresee these things. It's a talent. Also, we're going to send Harrison into hairpin 1 next lap. Hairpin 1 or hairpin 2, I think. So yeah, as I say that, Andrew is backed off way too much during that yellow flag. So we've lost the back of Harrison, who seems to be quite good through the final sector. So maybe we won't send Harrison into hairpin 1 or hairpin 2. Because Andrew is scared of the colour yellow. This is why I have actually designed a full yellow helmet to beat Andrew and free myself from the shackles that is commentating on his appalling videos where he misses every apex. Andrew, we need to work on your hitting skills. Like, you need to hit the apexes like you hit the barriers at Buckmore in 2022. Or just hit Harrison. Actually, just hit Harrison. That's much better. Anyway, we're on to the back of Harrison once again. Is there a yellow flag? No, it's not. It's just random car lights in the backdrop. So I can't tell if Andrew's getting a bad exit out of the hairpin or if his bottom end just isn't there. I actually think his bottom end isn't there, but if I say that, then Andrew's going to feel like he's justified to complain about his car, and I can't allow that. Anyway, we just didn't quite fire out of turn 1 properly, but we've got a good run through hairpin 1. Are we going to send it into hairpin 2? No, Harrison's got to go defensive. He heard what I was saying about the send into hairpin 2. And Andrew heard what I said about hitting apexes and decided he wanted to hit the apex on the other side of the circuit. Andrew. Focus. These apexes. This is just now the meme. Oh my god. Andrew. Apexes. Next video. I swear, Andrew, if you miss an apex in the next video, that is going to be absolutely... I was going to do a pun, but it just didn't work. That is a good run, though, coming out of Cafe. I think we're on to the final lap of the race. We've waffled our way to the last lap, guys. We're going to give Harrison a little push. Harrison's going to go defensive. We're going to look to the outside. Andrew, for the love of God, hit the blooming apex this time. On the brakes. Go on. Andrew! Anyway, we've got a good run coming out of the corner. We missed the apex, but we also hit the revs. So it's all good. Harrison goes a little bit deep into the chicane. We're going to get a lovely run. Do we send it? Oh, Andrew. Andrew! You impatient little sod. Anyway, that is going to bring an end to this race. Honestly, I can only apologize for Andrew's lack of hitting apexes. We will work on it. And we ended up finishing this race in 7th position. But because Andrew is a fantastic clean driver, we jumped ahead of Rory, we jumped ahead of Harrison, and we jumped ahead of Jack Goldsmith, because all of them are really, really dirty drivers who got fully deserved penalties, which means that Andrew McWilliam takes a 4th in the first round of the championship. And yeah, that is it. Thank you very much for watching, and make sure you subscribe to Andrew's channel.